You tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need. We give you outspoken thoughts about all the headlines. We talk baseball, football, hockey, and more. No matter the topic, we cover it. Get ready for the show and keep it outspoken. Keep it outspoken. We keep it outspoken only on the Sportscast. Tune into the Sportscast with Brian, Craig, and Jeff. Give you all the sports news you need.
Hey guys, welcome into the Outspoken Sportscast here. This is your host Brian and Craig. Craig, brother man, how's it going?
How you doing, sir? How are you?
I'm doing good, We got episode 177 Talks on Tuesday, week 17 edition. We're going to give you the week NFL 17 recap, and we're going to give you the bowl games over the weekend, the big playoffs, NCAA playoffs, and we're going to give you headlines of the week right after this, guys. All right, guys, welcome to the Outspoken Network Sportscast edition here for you. We have week 17. Craig, can you believe it's already week 17 in the NFL, man?
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, it flew by.
Definitely did. I cannot believe it. Craig's got pulling a Michael Jordan over here today on the podcast.
Yeah.
Craig's a little under the weather today, running a fever. So I appreciate you being on here. Anyways, gotta make it. All right, guys. Well, we had a interesting week 17. We start off with the Cowboys on Thursday night. Boring game. Cowboys win 27-13. They played a bunch of backups and a third-string quarterback. How bad does Malik Willis have to be for the coach to say we're going to the third string?
Yeah. I mean, you're playing for a division title against Jacksonville, and from the sounds of it, they're going to go with the rookie. And I have to wonder if Malik Willis has played his last game in Tennessee, if a lot of these quarterbacks have played their last game, and the time frame they normally get, being a first round pick and he was a third round, I think, but to being a top pick like this, they're not getting the time that they used to get. I mean, Zach Wilson's not getting these other guys got time after time after time. And I mean, look at the guy in Danny Dimes over there in New York. They didn't even pick up his 5th-year option, and now they're going to have to give him a contract, a multi-year deal, because they didn't pick up the option because he finally figured it out. But it took 5 seasons. Well, I mean, better than what he had. He's better than what he has been.
Better than what he has been, but still ain't going to win with him. I don't think.
He pulled the team to the playoffs in a pretty solid division.
I guess you can't argue that, but you go look at his numbers; they're average.
Oh yeah,
they're average. Nothing special. I wouldn't say it's. Is it Malik Willis? Willis? Or am I even saying that name right?
I think it's
I don't
Willis,
even know.
yeah.
Willis. I wouldn't say it's his last game, but I think
you're not going to play him in the division title game.
It's his first year, though. I think
this kid was on a practice squad in Detroit 4 weeks ago, the one they're using. talk about a rookie. I mean, this kid couldn't even make the Detroit Lions roster.
I just the indecisions from these head coaches and
Yes.
the lack of patience is going to get them fired.
And some of the coaches have excuses as to I wasn't here when you drafted this quarterback, but
Right.
he was with Willis. He now whether or not he got vetoed or not, and whether or not Shanahan got vetoed or not, we don't know. That's working out pretty good though.
Yeah, it is, and as far from Shanahan goes, I don't want to get off on something else here, but I hear they're still on the Trey Lance train, so for next season.
That's what it sounds like. But I mean, you can't if this guy wins, if this guy keeps winning.
If he takes you to the Super Bowl this season,
yeah,
I don't think you're changing.
I don't think Trey Lance is the answer. Trey Lance just had another surgery, by the way, so that'll be fun.
All right, let's move into Sunday's games and
down and 7 here. Michigan blitzes. Duggan dumps it off short. Quentin Johnston has the first down, and off he goes. They are not going to catch him. No flags.
I pushed the wrong button there, Craig. I
Yeah,
apologize. I apologize for that,
all
buddy.
Okay. All right.
I apologize for that one, buddy.
Mm-hmm.
We move on to the Packers-Vikings game here, and we totally stomped their butts, okay? The Vikings are frauds. I'm going to stick with that. They are absolute frauds. They left this game with a negative, like 30-something run differential, and they're 12-4. The odds say they are getting lucky. It's just like it was like 2 or 3 years ago where the Rangers kept winning these one-run games, and we won so many of them. We looked really good, but we really weren't.
Can't repeat it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. And they have talent. This is always a team that they're talented. They never do anything with it. But my beef here, oh my gosh, Craig, I swear these Packers Kool-Aid drinking homers are killing me. They're going to get on here and they're like, they want to talk about, oh, Aaron Rodgers played great on Sunday. He had 159 yards. He did not play great. He had 15 passes, 1 touchdown. He rushed for 1. He didn't throw an interception. That's good. But these guys got to quit. I'm like, no, we're winning despite Aaron Rodgers. He's overthrowing wide open guys. We're playing good defense and our special teams. Nixon's come out of nowhere and he leads the league in rushing and kick return yards. But guys, Rodgers is done. Can we stop? Can we stop with the he's playing great because he's not? And they keep going, well, they're doing what he's asking them to do, and we're just running the football. No, we're not going to win anything in the playoffs. If we get there, there's a big if. We get a Detroit Lions game coming up next week for that. But we looked good most phases during this game. And what I love about it more, my guy Alexander right here shut down the best wide receiver in the game, and he talked his trash, and he backed it up.
He did back it up. He did the old giddy for the whole game and 1 for 15 and I mean, if you're going to do that, if you're going to say that you're going to put him on an island, then you better do it because nobody has been able to do it this year. Probably the Cowboys in Diggs locked him down, but then Christian Watson went, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and had 4 touchdowns. So there's that. And that's exactly what I'm afraid of if these teams make the playoffs is Rodgers was hurt earlier in the year. Yeah. When they were losing these games, we don't know the extent of that injury. We don't know how bad it was because the Packers never reported it. He was nowhere on an injury report for a month. All of a sudden, somebody saw the cast in the Cowboy game and went, hey, what's that? Oh, well, you guys saw it. It just happened. No, it didn't just happen. You've been having this problem for a month now, and you didn't report it. And so, yes. And so now he's probably healed. They've won a bunch of football games. The defense is bailing him out when he needs them to. And you don't want to face that team. Now, granted, if Dallas plays them, maybe they have to go into, if they're going to be the 7th seed, which they will be, they're not going to be any higher than that. Then they have to play road. Thank God no one has to go to Lambeau in January, but Detroit does. And I don't see, if this game was in Detroit, maybe, but I don't see that going into Lambeau in January and putting up a ton of points. I just don't. The Lions defense has been atrocious. The Jets put up 1,000. I mean, that kid Zach Wilson put up 300 yards. He looked like Dan Marino out there, and then he got benched. They played better against Chicago because Justin Fields can't hit the water if he fell out of the boat. But
and they think he's the answer.
Yes, 100%. And so it will be very interesting to see that draft pick. Do they go pick a replacement and try to move on from Fields, or are they all in on him? That's the draft pick you want to see. Not Houston, not any of the other teams. You want to see what Chicago does, because that's going to tell you what they are doing with Justin Fields. They can say what they want to right now, but that draft pick will show you how in they are on Justin Fields. The bottom line is Rodgers is getting hot at the right time, and Brady's getting hot at the right time. For 3 quarters, he couldn't find anything, and all of a sudden, these teams are getting hot at the right time, and Dallas is not. And I'm telling you, it's going to be a brutal playoff thing for if you're a Dallas fan. I believe I could be wrong, but that's my opinion.
Well, I don't want to get too far ahead because we will break down those playoffs. But I do tend to agree with that with you. Speaking of another team that you don't want to face, you just said them, the Detroit Lions on offense. They just put up 41 against the Bears. The Bears just are garbage. That's just is what it is.
Yeah.
They're kind of heating up. They're a team that can, and they're going to fight Green Bay hard next week. But they beat the Bears easily. This is just what defense is going to show up for them next week is really what it comes down to. We have the Falcons beat the Cardinals 20-19 with a walk-off field goal to win that one, edge them out. Cliff Kingsbury is packing his bags there in Arizona, I believe, and will be found his way out to the curb. And I don't really know if he finds another job in the NFL. He didn't have much success in college, and he gets an NFL job. He didn't have much success here with what some consider to be a great quarterback. So I don't know if maybe he goes and be a offensive coordinator somewhere.
The only thing that I can think of is, as Patrick says, the playoffs are going to be a bloodbath. The only thing that I can think of is, I got sidetracked.
We're talking about Cliff Kingsbury. And
the only thing I can think of is they give him another chance because of the injury to Kyler. He didn't have a quarterback. He didn't even have the second string. The second string was in there for a small second, and he gets concussed, and he's out, and he's playing with a guy that was on waivers in the practice squad. Again, another Detroit Lions practice squad, David Blau. How these Lion guys are popping up everywhere all over the league and getting jobs and doing well, I'll never know. But they couldn't do well in Detroit, but yet they're popping up everywhere and they're getting starting jobs and they're doing well. But the only thing I can think of is how Kingsbury keeps his job is they say Kyler was hurt and he'll be back next year. You get one more year. That's the only way he keeps his job. If he doesn't, he doesn't.
I think Kyler, between all the beef. Sorry,
I think so. I think so. I think you're right. But that's the only way he saves his job is if they say, "Hey, we can't, we can't do it."
Between all the beef, I think they pull in their quarterback and go, "Hey, what do you want?" And I think he says, "I want him out of here," and they move on because you just pay this quarterback a lot of money, and you're ride or die with him right now. So.
That's that. I mean, he's going to have to accept Kyler as his quarterback. They're going to say, "We'll give you another shot." So they're going to give you another shot, we'll give you another shot if you accept Kyler. If you're going to bang heads, then you're gone. And I think that's going to be the argument. That Kingsbury has, and he's gonna get one shot. They're gonna pull him into the office and they're gonna go, "Do you want Kyler next year? We'll give you another shot because he was hurt. If the answer is no, there's the door. Have a nice time. We'll pay you whatever the severance is." I think that's gonna be the discussion.
I wanted to note real quick, Patrick, it's good to have you back on the show, buddy. We missed you. Thanks for jumping on here with us, and hope you're enjoying the show. Now, if you want to come on, guys, and communicate with us, you can communicate with us through YouTube, and you can comment right here as Patrick gives us the smiley face emoji. You got the Broncos almost beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs are 27 to 24 there. The Chiefs sneak by one. And these two teams, it's a divisional game. These two teams play each other well. The Broncos have looked better without Russell Wilson than they have with him. I'm not even sure. Oh no, Russell Wilson did play this game. Okay, from that score, I figured he didn't.
And he'll have well, he finally has more touchdowns than he has bathrooms in his house.
There we go.
There we go. Finally, it took 16 weeks, or 17 weeks, but we got there.
Teddy Bridgewater, Mr. Average, can't beat the Patriots as they lose 23-21, and how far the Dolphins have fallen from this season. And this is probably one of the weirdest seasons for a franchise that you've seen. A quarterback that's been concussed about.
So Jekyll and Hyde, with their starter and with the backups, it is not even funny. I did not see what happened to Bridgewater, if he got injured or if he was just terrible, but the third string was in to end this football game, and he wasn't much better. And
Mac Jones played good against his bad defense. I mean, he had 203 yards, 2 touchdowns. He didn't throw the horrible interceptions that cost him a game, like he tends to do. And they just beat a team. The Dolphins' defense is good, but their offense without Tua has been bad. And
100%.
And that's just it. And I really like me and you have talked about it before. We really like the coach. We like what he's doing there, but they've got to figure out what the hell a concussion player looks like. Because
did you hear what how they found it out?
How did they find out?
He was watching film with the coach, with McDaniels, and McDaniels goes, "Hey, this throw here, that linebacker," and Tua looked at him and goes, "I don't even remember that play." And McDaniels turned around. He goes, "What?"
What?
He goes, "I didn't make that throw." He's like, "Well, clearly you did. We didn't superimpose you on the screen. You're right. You're right here. That's you. That's your number, right? That's you. We didn't swap. We didn't do a jersey swap in the middle of the game. That's you, bro." And he's like, "Yeah, I didn't." He goes, "I have no recollection of the fourth quarter."
That's insane. I
He
didn't
goes,
hear that.
"Well, that would be why you threw 3 interceptions to the wrong team, because you didn't remember throwing any of them." Okay, got it.
Yeah, Patrick says crazy NFL season overall, and this whole offseason was one of the craziest we've had, and this season's been absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. And you're right about that, Patrick. Yeah, the Giants just killing the Colts. The Colts are just a team that maybe they're probably the worst team, one of the worst teams in the league, bottom 3, bottom 5. Did you see Thibodeau completely kill Foles and do snow angels next to him while his body's laying on the ground?
That's the NFL has to.
That's a terrible look. Oh, do you think he's going to get fined?
I think he has to. I think the NFL can't, especially with what's going on in the NFL today. You cannot have people out there.
He
doing
killed
that.
Foles.
I mean, he's literally he's not
right next to
he's
him.
not 10 feet away. He's not deal. He's literally hitting Foles as he's doing the snow angel. He's smacking him in the head, like giving him a concussion as he's
and then
deal. And then the people, like his teammates, are trying to get him up so the people can get to Foles, and he's just doubling down on Snow Angels.
Foles.
And then he goes on the sidelines and he's like, he was asleep. He was very much asleep, and we have concussion reasons, and guys are dying from it, and you should stop being a complete total.
It's
worthless.
a trash move. It's a trash move.
And if the NFL doesn't fine him, at least fine him, then there's something to the wrong.
Absolutely crazy. I saw the hit. Foles is on the ground. Looks like he's twitching a little bit, and he's over there doing Snow Angels. And then he says, "I didn't see him." But then you go to the sideline and you go to the night symbol over here, and
I said, if it was just the field, then maybe we could justify it, and he can play dumb and go, I didn't see him, even though you were hitting him. You could say I didn't see him. It was a heat of the moment deal. But then you went over on the sideline after somebody on the team had told you, hey man, dude's out here getting carted off because he broke his ribs. Can we not? And he's like, oh, that guy? You mean the guy that was asleep? And he's doubling down. No.
Yeah,
stop.
It's a bad look. It's for a rookie, and he'll learn his ways as he gets in the NFL here. Saints take care of business against the Eagles as the Eagles still playing with Gardner Minshew, and it didn't look good. He didn't look like the Gardner Minshew who put up 34 against Dallas. I'll give you that. The Saints win that one, and the Eagles are still trying to win to close the division out. If they win next week, they will do that. But nothing really to write home about this game. Saints, they get Lattimore back, and he has the game-sealing pick six. To end it. Bucks take care of business against the Panthers barely. They wait till the fourth quarter. They score 20 points and they win 30-24. Basically going to clinch that division for them if they win this week. If they not already clinched the division, Craig, or are they still
Tampa?
Yeah.
Tampa's in. They've won the deal because they have the head-to-head against Carolina. So even if they lose and Carolina ties them, they have the head-to-head. It's over. Carolina's out. They've been eliminated. That division's over. The only three teams in the NFC that can make the playoffs are the Packers, the Lions, and the Seahawks. That's going to be your 7th seed. 2 of them are out. 1 of them are in. That's it. Now, the top seeds can play around a little bit. We'll talk about that later. But the only team that can be in that's not eliminated are the Packers, the Seahawks, and the Lions. That's it.
Browns take care of business against the Commanders and completely eliminated the Commanders in playoff contention. The Browns won 24-10. Nothing really to write home there. You got the Jaguars kill the Texans, and I believe are they playing for their division next week? The Jacksonville Jaguars?
They are playing Saturday night. Tennessee and Jacksonville play the late game Saturday night.
And it'll be for the division.
Winner goes to the playoffs, loser goes home. That's it.
Patrick says Lions, baby. He does it. He wants the Lions to beat the Packers next week.
They have the hardest path.
The Lions.
Yes, they have to have both Seattle and they beat Green Bay, and then Seattle has to lose.
Yep.
If
to get in. Seattle just needs Green Bay to lose and to win, and Seattle will win. The Lions could beat Green Bay and still not make the playoffs if Seattle wins.
Yes.
So
correct. They have to have both lose. And the easiest scenario is Green Bay just wins and they're in and everybody's out. And I think in January in Lambeau on Sunday night, unfortunately, I think you've given Aaron Rodgers too many feathers in his cap. And unless we're going to bite some kneecaps off and get these guys ready to run through a wall and they show up like they did before. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take to run through a wall and you're going to have to put pressure on him. You're going to have to stop the running game, and you're going to have to put up 30. If the Lions put up the points they've been putting up, they'll beat them. I don't know if Jair Alexander and the defense will allow that. I don't know if the pass rush of Green Bay will allow that. I have no idea. I've not looked at the weather, what the weather's going to be. But Sunday night, that is another disadvantage the NFL should have thought of at 7:20 or 8:20 in Green Bay. It is going to be
our defense has played
as
better
cold as it's been
as of late. We played with a lot of energy last week. We had we picked off Kirk Cousins a lot. We were surrounding the football. Our pass rush is not really there yet. We're missing Gary, one of the best pass rushers in the NFL, and it'll be a good game. I think Detroit always plays us well. But Jacksonville wins. They're in. If they lose, they go home. Jacksonville,
Yes.
though, they've been on a little bit of a hot streak as late, and Trevor Lawrence has really stepped up and looked to be the guy that they drafted. 49ers beat the Raiders in overtime. What a fascinating game this was. 37-34. It was back and forth all game. Devontae Adams made some amazing catches in this game. And but they fall short.
Jared Stidham plays like we have a guy that, a rookie, first time in the NFL, and he puts on a performance of a lifetime, and so
365. Woo,
yeah,
3 touchdowns.
100%.
2 interceptions, but the 49ers win, and they've already obviously clinched. They're just waiting to figure out what seed they're going to be.
Yes.
If they win next week, they'll be the number 2 seed.
Yes.
So you got the Jets completely.
And then you'll have to go to San Francisco, have a good time with that.
Yeah, we'll be out. At least it won't be the NFC Championship game they beat us this time. It'll just be the first round. Jets and Seattle played, and Seattle won this game 23-26, keeping their hopes for a playoff alive as it all comes down to next week. And the Jets are going to have another losing season, and they're going to really have to think over their quarterback decisions, their head coaching decisions looking forward at the end of the season.
Down and 7 here. Michigan blitzes. Duggan dumps it off short. Quentin Johnston has the first down, and off he goes. They are not going to catch him.
And you got the Chargers beat the Rams 31-10. Another abysmal game as the Rams are on their backup quarterback. Patrick liked that, did he?
Yeah.
And then you finally got the Steelers to win 16-13 over the Ravens. I kind of feel bad for the Ravens. That was pretty funny, Patrick. I do agree. The Ravens, I feel bad for them.
Really funny if that new ride goes missing in the morning.
Couple flat tires.
Yeah. Oh, where'd that go? Where's the GPS say it is? I don't know.
Oh, what GPS?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Why is it laying on the ground?
Steelers get the victory here, and
that's how we learn.
Steelers beat the Ravens 16-13. Now, I hope the Steelers win this week because Mike Tomlin has done something that I don't know if any other coach, and I mean, it doesn't happen very often if it's ever been done, is he's never had a losing season. Never. And if they lose next week, he will have his first losing season ever. If they win next week, he will continue that streak. That deserves Coach of the Year after the quarterback debacle. If they finish with a winning, I mean, he's not going to happen. But kudos to him, and Mike Tomlin is a class act.
Who do they play?
Who do they play? Let me see. Let me see who they play next week. Steelers play.
Please be Indy.
The Browns.
Oh,
so that could be, Deshaun Watson.
Steelers defense against Deshaun. That offense, other than Amari Cooper, hadn't looked great.
No, they haven't. And so we'll see. Hopefully they pull it off. I'm rooting for him next week, definitely. And they got TJ Watt back. He's been a beast.
Yeah. He might be comeback player of the year to miss some part of the season and come back and play the way he's played. That is amazing. So.
All right, guys. Well, that is your Week 17 recap. We've got the NCAA bowl games coming here for you. We have one more time, Craig.
Down and 7 here. Michigan blitzes. Duggan dumps it off short. Quentin Johnston has the first down, and off he goes. They are not going to catch him. No flags.
All right, Craig, that'll be the last time I play that video, buddy. But TCU, baby. We get the job done. We pull one of the biggest upsets, and they said it was the biggest upset. Being we were
absolutely
favorites.
Yeah,
beat Michigan 51-45,
and it'll be the biggest upset behind it because they're 12.5-point underdogs with Georgia. Yeah,
and it's moving up. I peed my pants. Look,
yeah.
look. Okay, I didn't think we were gonna win. Michigan, when they took the very first handoff of the game, like 65 yards, I was like,
50,
oh gosh,
53 yards on the first play of the game.
Here we go.
And it looked good. And then we run the Philly special down on the fourth down. I have no idea what. I've watched 13 games, and we've ran that. You've seen that play as many times as I've seen it now. Because
why'd you get pretty? It's like, what?
I have no idea. I'd like to ask Jim the same question because you've seen that play as many times as I have. One, and it was just as bad as, it used to be cute. It worked the first time because nobody had seen it. Now everybody runs it and everybody sees it. And the cornerback just went out there and went, oh, I've seen this. Here comes the quarterback. I'm just going to stand here.
There's four guys. And you're
like,
the
deal. And I'll be honest with you. The wide receiver would have been better to throw it out of bounds and give him the ball in the 2 or the 1.
Then take a 15
then
yard
take
sack.
a 19-yard sack and give it to him at midfield.
Yeah.
Because I don't really know exactly. And whatever we were doing. And while there were bad calls throughout the entire game, there was a catch by Michigan late in the game. He didn't catch the ball. It went through his hands. It hit the ground. They didn't get a chance to review it. They missed that. But there's 2 plays or 3 plays that the officials completely botched. The touchdown by Roman, he catches the ball. He lands in the end zone. He does not have full control of it. When he does have full control of it, he's in the end zone. He crossed the line. You called it a touchdown on the field, which means you have to have clear evidence that you see something to overturn it. There's nothing there. Sean McDonough brought it up 368 times. He played that they misspotted the ball when they intercepted it. The ball was 3 yards back than where it should have been. So that should have been a touchdown because it would have been 3 yards closer. He could have hit him in the air, whatever. That's 6 points that you took off the board. You changed the entire momentum of the game. Instead of 14-10, it's 21-3. That's a complete different deal. The last drive of the game, TCU jumps and forces Michigan to false start. That's the definition of encroachment. You cannot come into the neutral zone and make the offensive guy move and deal. And they called a false start on Michigan. There's another 5 yards. And the creme de la creme, please tell me that wasn't targeting. What is the definition? I lowered my head. I hit you in the helmet, and I crown of my helmet, crown of your helmet, and I led, and we had enough evidence to review it. And I understand that you do not want to end a national semifinal on that call and deal. So congrats to TCU. They won. They got the Michigan still let up 51 points. And that's the bottom line is that defense has not let up 21 all year, and they let up 51. Now, granted, 2 of those were pick sixes, and so that's 12 points on JJ. The fumble on the 1 yard line, which it should have been a touchdown, but it wasn't even close.
You got a hold of the ball, man.
He didn't even get it in there. JJ just dropped it on the ground and it
kicks it right
into the end zone. And instead of being on the 1, it comes out to the 20, and TCU marches down the field and scores. When I thought the game had changed was when it started the fourth quarter and Michigan had got it within 3. And the play that you just played, I thought was the straw that broke the camel's back.
That's why
that guy Johnson stutter steps. He runs just a simple drag route. It's just a simple drag route. The linebacker comes down. He should get him no problem, and he goes to get him. And Johnson takes like a stutter step. And when he takes a stutter step, the guy goes in front of him, and there is nobody down that sideline. Nobody. And that guy runs a 4.40, and so he is going to
NFL wide receiver. That guy is
100%.
And look, Craig, you make some valid points that the referee in this game was not
TCU had some bad calls too. The roughing the passer that they had, that
Oh, terrible.
it looked like it originally. I called it when it first happened. I was like, that was roughing the passer. I called it, and then when they reviewed it, I went, oh, that's not as bad as I thought. And
Now, here's what I saw. Okay, when I watched this game, I think Michigan totally underestimated TCU.
100%.
We came out, we played physical, we knocked them in the mouth. Michigan tried to answer late. That play that I keep playing over and over again, I think, is the exact play that's kind of like, oh my god.
I'll tell you what happened was whoever the offensive coordinator is for Michigan, I'm going to ask him a number, and it should haunt him for all of the offseason and all of next year, and that is number 13, your linebacker. Because he wasn't blocked one time
absolutely
the entire game. No one put a body on him.
Not at all.
That dude would stand there, you'd snap the ball, he'd stand there and go, and then run, and bah! And he'd hit the guy in the backfield. And you every time you got a play in the backfield, you look at the thing. He had the pick six. He had the deal. This guy was 100%. That guy was a menace. And they almost said that it looked like he was doing it on his own. So you think that he didn't come in and do a little extra film study and watch Michigan's play call? I mean, if they know what you're going to call, maybe you should change it up a little bit.
He's been a beast all year long. And look,
Michigan's ran the ball against anybody. And why they didn't do the same game plan when TCU started hitting the run, why they didn't go to the pass and open it up to do just like the Ohio State. When you start going down the field, they have to back off. And then they never went down the field. They did a couple times in the second half, but it was too late by that point in time. You were in a track meet. That's what TCU baited you into the game they wanted to play.
Exactly.
The first half, they didn't need to because you threw a bunch of pick sixes. But the second half, TCU said, we need to make this a track meet. And they did.
I was so hyped when we won that game. And look, I'll give you the spot of the ball was a little weird on the end on the touchdown pass. They brought back to the half marker. By letter of the law, it should not have been changed.
Out of 100. When 99% of the time it doesn't matter because you hand the ball off or you J.J. McCarthy and you jump over the top and you get the touchdown and it doesn't matter.
That's my thing is you just got to hold on the ball and you have that touchdown next play. That was absolute targeting. That's the true definition of targeting. I still don't think it. I mean, it would have gave you the ball back 15 yards, but you only had 23 seconds with no timeouts. You don't know what could have happened.
No, yeah, and in college football,
amazing play.
And in college football, even if you throw the Hail Mary and they interfere with you in the end zone, it's not a spot foul. It's on
yards.
It's just 15 yards. So a couple different times they mug the wide receiver because they're like, doesn't matter because it's 15 yards and not a spot foul.
I like that, by the way. I like that.
It could definitely, I mean, you can definitely in the NFL change a game by getting a ref that wants to deal. And there was two different plays where your defensive back, number one, just jumped into him and blasted through him and went, I'll take my 15 because that guy was going to burn me.
Now, Craig, will you be rooting for TCU to beat Georgia? Can you jump on the TCU?
I'm not a fan of Georgia. Georgia steamrolled us last year, and I was not looking forward to playing them. I didn't think
I don't want to play them.
But the team that showed up to play Ohio State, I thought Ohio State was going to get run, and they did not. I mean, if anything shy of a regular field goal kicker.
Shanks, Ohio State gives the game back to Georgia. They're up by 1 point. They get in the field goal range, and I say they were on the edge. It was 51 yards, and he didn't even come close to hitting the red side of a barn. Okay,
no, it was left the second he kicked it. They couldn't even block it because it was that far. It went around the end of the line.
Did you see what Atlanta did? The Falcons. Yeah. After they kicked the field goal, they said that's how you kick a game-winning field goal in our stadium. Savage. Oh.
Yeah, and they're right.
Woo!
I mean, and that kid will take that as long as he lives. I'm sure Ohio State had to go calm him down, and he probably had death threats. I just hate when they do that. These kids are just kids. They're college athletes. They're I look at my son and he's going to graduate this year and no, he doesn't play college football, but if he did and he went and kicked the field goal and kicked it like that, and the internet exploded and there was things of death threats. That's ridiculous. It's they're kids. They're 19 years old. They're 20 years old, and they don't deserve that as more as the people who are doing it. I mean, there's a guy that was the fan of I don't remember which team it was, but he texts Dak Prescott and he says, I hope your brother Tad is next.
What a POS.
To me, there should be some fallout for things like that. There should be able to way to track IP addresses and get these people tracked down because they're keyboard warriors. They think they can do whatever they want. And harassment is just not a thing. You can't go and harass somebody and blow their phone up and tell them you're going to do something and tell them you're going to do something and tell them you're going to do something. And get away with it. It just can't be done. It's illegal, and that's the bottom line. So I hope these people get what's coming to them.
There's always those idiots in the world.
No, 100%.
Unfortunately, and it's best in my for those people that do make them they don't make the game-winning field goal. They miss that catch to just turn off social and just really get away from it because as Patrick points out here. Social media brings out the worst in people, and you were exactly right. And I think that's, you want to talk about a whole nother rabbit hole. That's one of the things that's wrong with this world today. But I don't want to go too far down that rabbit hole. Tulane, I had to put this one in here. Tulane upsets USC. USC had an 8-point lead.
They scored the last 16 points.
Yeah. Then I guess it was a 16-point lead. They gave up 15-point lead. They gave up a safety, and they let Tulane drive down the field. He throws a touchdown pass. They call it incomplete at first. They go back and look at it. The ball was never hit the ground. The ball was in the wide receiver's grasp. He didn't have possession of it, but then he's laying on the ground. He's like, the ball never touched the ground. They end up calling it a touchdown, and they beat USC. That's an upset, and we're all just pointing and laughing at Lincoln Riley.
Lincoln Riley can coach offense, but he cannot play defense. He cannot coach defense.
He cannot. And his brother is TCU's
apparently
offensive coordinator.
Yes, apparently it's the same way in TCU.
Looks really good. All right, guys, we have your headlines. Right after this, guys. All right, guys. I know we've been kind of goofing off and kind of making fun of Craig for being a Michigan's fan, but it's time to get a little serious. Last night, as you all know, we had a scary sight last night on the football field. Damar Hamlin went into a cardiac arrest after making what seemed to be a routine tackle. He had to be they had to give him CPR on the field. A scary sight. That we're all just kind of in shock I think the players were in shock and disbelief and crying on the field and just everyone. It's been a sad kind of day today, and we're prayers and thoughts out for him and his family. They do believe the shot into the chest was kind of what caused it, caused his heart to go out of rhythm, and it's just something that you never want to see. And injuries happen in the league. Injuries happen all the time, but nothing like this. We've never seen this before where someone's had to have CPR on the field. And I give kudos to the Bills team, the teammates of the Buffalo Bills and the Bengals who kind of huddled around Hamlin last night, so we couldn't see what was going on because that's not something we want to see. That's not something that his parents and family members want to see, let alone his teammates that were kind of looking the other way. And as it's a scary sight, and we pray for him and his health, and hopefully that he's going to recover from this 100%. I don't know. We have no clue. He's in critical condition. They do have him in a coma to do tests and see kind of where he's at. Obviously, the worry here is how long did his body go without oxygen and blood, and that's when things turn deadly. But hopefully, since this happened on the football field, they got to him quickly enough to kind of stop any of that bad things from happening. And we will tune you in whenever we find out. We still don't know anything much more than that. We've gotten to find out a little bit about Damar Hamlin's character today, about his charity, about he always goes out on the field and gives his family a hug and seeks them out. He's a 6th-round pick. And I wanted to share something real quick, Craig, before you talk about it or before you weigh in here. But he has a charity set up for his city where he comes from in Pittsburgh, and that donates toys to underprivileged kids in the community. And he had a goal set for $2,500 because he's on a rookie contract, 6th-round pick. They're not making the $30 million, $100 million contracts. He's only making, I think his salary is like $3 million over 6 years or something. Well, everyone was felt so bad for him, and wanted to contribute in a way that his charity has reached over $4 million now.
And that was this afternoon. It may be more than that by now.
It's absolutely amazing to see the world come together the way it has for such a scary thing. And it shows that we still care about people. And it's just good to see that. But, obviously we pray that Damar Hamlin's fine. I don't care about his football career. I hope he's fine and able to have a good life after this. But that's in God's hands right now.
Yes. I watched this last night. I wasn't planning on watching very much of the game. And this happened early in the first quarter. And when I saw the initial hit, I didn't think anything of it. And I saw him get up and I saw him fall. And I just thought he stood up too quick. You stand up too quick, you get a rush of blood and you fall down. And I thought maybe he got hit in the head and got dizzy and just fell down. And you could tell that he had lost consciousness by the way he fell. But you didn't know at the time what it was. The only thing I've seen this one other time personally. It was 1998 in an NHL playoff game. Chris Pronger got hit in the chest by a smoked hockey puck against the Detroit Red Wings in 1998. In 1998, this wasn't a thing. This wasn't people didn't know about this. We didn't have defibrillators. We didn't have paramedics. We didn't have all this stuff. There were paramedics in the building, but not as close to Hamlin as they were last night. From what I can basically tell, it's called commotio cordis, and that's basically agitation of the heart. And it's often a lethal distribution of the heart rhythm that occurs as a result of the blow to the area directly above the heart at a critical time during the cycle of the heart. And so when T. Higgins' helmet hit Hamlin, it was in this cycle of the heart, and he hit the 1/1000th of an inch that the shoulder pads and everything do not cover. And it basically becomes VFib, ventricular fibrillation. And it's basically when you go to the hospital and your heart is out of rhythm, the doctors have to shut your heart down and restart it. Well, that's all done under a controlled environment, you have oxygen, you have the whole 9 yards. Well, this was done without any of that. This was done in the blink of an eye. And they think that they got oxygen in time. They think they had the defibrillator on the cart, and so they hit him with the defibrillator in time, they believe. And they also believe that being 24 years old will help this young man maybe not play football again, but will help him be able to walk out of that hospital. Now, do I know when? No, I don't know if that will be by the end of the week. I don't know if that'll be a month from now. I don't know the scans that they're doing. The fact that they went all day today and did not anything, nothing came out other than he's been sedated and he is resting and he has a tube so we can do some scans. Is probably not the greatest sign you want to hear. Everybody wants to see their phone light up and say Damar Hamlin has walked out of the hospital and he's going home to his family and he'll be in the stadium on Sunday morning. The bottom line is that's probably just not going to happen anytime soon. And I will tell you something that I'm impressed with. Situations like this, you normally see leaks. You normally see media. Somebody is trying to be the hero. They want to try to be the guy that gets it first. They want to be the guy that says he's going to recover or he's not going to make. They want to be that first guy. And I absolutely respect everybody from Buffalo, everybody from Cincinnati, everybody from ESPN, everybody from CNN, all these news networks, that it's their top story now. This is the top of it leads every newscast, whether it's your local news, whether it's SportsCenter, whether it's CNN, whether it's anything, it's leading it. But they did not invade this family's privacy. They did not. There's been no false reports. There's been no, he didn't make it, he did make it, he did this, he did that. There has not been a single one of a false reporting. And while it is amazing and needs to be thinking about Damar Hamlin right now, you also need to think about T. Higgins, because that young man didn't do anything than he normally did on any other play, and he has to live with that he did this, that it was his face mask that hit Damar Hamlin and caused this to ventricular fibrillation and caused him to fall on this field and lay motionless for every bit of 20 or 30 minutes. It's the scariest thing I've ever seen. I hope you never see it again. ESPN did an absolutely amazing job for the hand they were dealt. There is no protocol to deal with anything like this. There is no anything to guideline or anything. The NFL, Troy Vincent has said there was never any kind of 5-minute we're going back to play. He said that was never said. I don't know where that came from. Clearly, the DeVar Hamlin was the only priority last night, and this game will not be made up. It will be made up, I believe, if Kansas City loses and Cincinnati and Buffalo win, they will try to figure out a way to make this game up. But as long as Kansas City wins on Sunday and it doesn't matter, this game will get scrubbed from the record and we just won't play it, and we'll move along.
And that's what needs to happen.
And that's exactly what needs to happen. And or you need to go off of win percentage and just not make it up anyway. And because they're short a game, their win percentage, if it's above Kansas City's, then it's above Kansas City's. But my question is how do these players continue to play a game? And does this change, just like Dale Earnhardt changed NASCAR, just like the Malice at the Palace changed NBA basketball, just like things have changed sports forever? Will this create the NFL to look at something and look for a plate that goes in this area, or will they put something on the face mask like how they wear in many camps, the cushions on top of the helmets? What are we going to do to make sure that this situation that happened last night in Cincinnati does not happen again? and I don't know if that will happen or not.
It seems to be one of those 1 in a million fluke things.
100%.
They say this happens more in baseball and hockey because of
Yes.
getting hit with the ball real hard or
Yes.
something like that.
And you don't have the protection. Guys
Right.
in hockey dive in front of pucks all the time. They put their foot out, they put their leg out, they put their body out. That's what they do. That's what these defensemen do. They pull their jerseys off at the end of the night, and they're just they're bruised up and they're beat up, and that's what they do. And Chris Pronger has sent him a message and sent his family a message and said, this is not the end of the world. I survived this back in 1998 when it was a death sentence. And so hopefully the family can and Pronger was older at that time. He wasn't 24. But the medical staff last night appeared to immediately put the defibrillator on, immediately get oxygen to this young man, and immediately do the things that need to be done. We'll see if it's enough. But I pray for him and his family, and I pray for Buffalo. And I'm going to tell you right now that fan base is unspeakable. I mean, to shovel the guys out of blizzards, to raise $4 million to the Buffalo Mafia, the Bills Mafia, as they're called. It's a fan base that I thought some of these other NFL teams were absolutely, the best fans in the world. Everybody wants to think that their fans are the best. I'm telling you right now, it's hard to argue Buffalo being right at the top of that list when they're out there shoveling players out and raising $4 million. That was $4 million at noon. Probably is more than that.
Man,
2 49ers players that donated large amounts. The NFL has handled it the best they know how.
Yeah, and the NFL is they've all changed, all the NFL teams' social medias. They changed their profile pictures to his number and name. And you got, I mean, this happened to me today, Craig. My good friend Amber texts me, her son Logan plays football, and she says this makes me question, do I want him playing this game? And
I think it will a lot.
It will a lot, and maybe that does change some people's past in life. But this game is physical, and unfortunately, we've never seen this before. That's why this has been put us into shock.
I think it will be. I think it will be very hard for DeMar Ham to ever convince anybody in his family to let him go back out there and play football. I can promise you that.
Yeah. So it's definitely something to think about, guys. But like we said, we're praying for him, and hopefully he has a full recovery, just to have a normal life. But all right, guys. Well, we're going to move on to the next headline here. The Commanders head coach Ron Rivera, looking like a buffoon, did not know he could be eliminated Sunday. They asked him, "Hey, if you're eliminated earlier today, or if you're eliminated later today," and Ron Rivera goes, "Eliminated? We could be eliminated today?" Like he had no clue that he could be. How does this happen? I don't understand. Does he? I think he's trying to get fired, Craig, because this guy puts back in Carson Wentz in a playoff deciding game. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Is he looking for a way out? I don't know.
It wasn't necessarily that Taylor Heineke has great numbers and is just lighting the world on fire. What he has is that locker room. That team, when Taylor Heineke took over and went into that huddle, you noticed a entire different performance of that football team. And you watched that football team on Sunday, and they were flat. And I will be interested to see how they come out and play against the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday.
If Taylor Heineke's playing, then they might.
Because I honestly just can't understand what he was doing. And maybe you're right. I didn't go in that far into it to think that far into it, but maybe he is. Maybe he's done. Maybe he thinks that he's trying to sabotage himself, and that organization is clearly on fire, and it's burning at the stakes anyway. I wouldn't want anything to do with that. I would see myself out.
Yeah, I'd retire. I would retire.
I would retire
I would
yesterday. I wouldn't even come to the stadium Sunday.
I would pull an Urban Meyer and retire because of health reasons.
Yeah.
And then take a job next year. Go TCU bloodbath. Patrick Tennyson. He said he's going to bed, boys, but we try to be on more. Thank you, Patrick, for joining the show. We appreciate you commenting with us here. Last one, Craig, and it's mainly for you. Rumors swirling that Jim Harbaugh could leave for the NFL if offered a job for Michigan. What say you? Do you want your head coach to leave? Do you want him to come back? I think he's underachieved there as Michigan head coach, but that's I'll leave that up to your call.
Not necessarily underachieved the last 2 seasons because he's won 15 of the 17 games, but where I have a problem is he hasn't won a bowl game in 6 years, and
0-8, right?
0-6, 0-7.
0-6.
And some of those were not national championship playoff games. The last 2 years were, but my question is, this team showed up to both of those playoff games, and they weren't ready. And when the reporter asked him, "Hey, last year you showed up here and Georgia hit you in the mouth. Are your players ready? More focused, more ready, more?" And she tried to word it in a way, word it in a way that that's possible. And he looked straight at her and he goes, "I don't know. I'll have to find out when we're done." And I sat there on the couch and I looked at my dad and I said, "What did he say?"
What? Yeah, what did he just say?
"I'll have to answer you when we're done." No, you say, "Yeah, I fixed last year. We showed up last year and we came out flat as a pancake and we looked terrible last year. And I promise you that we are not going to come out this way this year." And last year he went for it on 4th down against Georgia and didn't get it. And Georgia come down and stuffed it in their throat. And this year he goes for it on 4th down again and doesn't learn his lesson. Take the points. If he just takes the points, the 3 times that he's inside the 5-yard line, just takes 3. Guess how many that is? It's 9, and you lost by 6. You don't need the call. You don't need the ref to do 9 points. If you just take the field goals while you're down there, granted, the one was 1st and goal, so you're not going to – I don't expect you to kick a field goal on 1st and goal and you fumbled it. Okay. But 6, and it ties it. You fumbled and you ran the Philly special, and you had another time inside the 5, 3 times inside the 5, and you got no points. And you can't do that. I don't care who you are. You cannot give team opportunity to hang around, and that's what they did. And so they deserve to lose. And that's kind of what it is. And so if he wants to go to the NFL, hey, his style of coaching is great for a couple years, but it's not. He cannot yell at these guys like he can these college kids. They look at him and go, "Jim, that doesn't fly here." So just like in San Francisco, he went to San Francisco and it was great. While they were
winning,
they went to the Super Bowl. They went to 3 straight NFC Championship games. I mean, this guy's a genius. And then all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, listen, that doesn't fly, bro." The yelling, the screaming, the foaming at your mouth and spitting on us, like that doesn't work here. And that's why Urban Meyer doesn't work. That's why Saban hasn't gone. It's because, and that's why the guy from Clemson hasn't gone. These guys can go down here. They can yell at these kids. They can mold them the way they want to mold them. Could you imagine an NFL coach going into a press conference and going, "These guys are worthless. These guys didn't even show up today."
Yeah.
The players would be like, "What did he say?" No. And Saban and these guys go in and go, "Yeah, 10 of them transferred. I don't care. Hope they never get another playing time in the entire NCAA. If I can't," he goes, "I've offered them to play. They didn't want to play. So if they want to go transfer, we got 10 of them." He goes, "We may not have anybody that's graduating, but we got 10 people that are in the transfer portal. That's ridiculous. I gave them a chance to play. They turned it down. I hope they rot in some other system." And I was like, "What? Like, you can't say that." And he walks into these living rooms and he says what he wants to say, and people eat out of his hand. And you just this mentality that these college coaches have does not transfer to the NFL.
Nope,
You
that's
have
not.
you have to get guys that are former players. They know how to talk to these guys. They know which buttons to push to get them motivated. Jeff Saturday comes in. He thinks this is going to be great. He showed up. They're ready to run through a wall with him. And then all of a sudden he blows a 33-point lead. And this team looked at him and went, that dude ain't got it. And they ain't played another down for that dude the rest of the time. I thought he had a chance to keep that job. He don't have a single chance because that team will do nothing for that man. That team wouldn't walk across the street and put him out if he was on fire if they needed to. And that's what you have to find. You have to find the guy or person that is going to go into your locker room and get 52 guys to run through a wall. And the guy in Detroit does it. And that's why Jason Garrett will never succeed. That's why, I think Dayball is kind of in the middle. It will be interesting to see if
I think he's a good coach, but
he is. But that whole yelling and screaming and we'll see how long it lasts. The Mike McDaniel, he's a buddy. How long that lasts? You can only be buddy for so long before these guys take advantage of that and start not showing up to practice and not deal. He's out there playing music. He's out there dancing around. That's fine right now. But when guys start to be late on practice, well, come on, coach, it's cool. I mean, just calm down, dude. It's cool. You got to find the guy that when it's time, he can be the defense, the disciplinarian. But when it's time, he can say, "Hey, listen, guys, let's tone it back a notch and have a deal." You've got to have the mixture, and a lot of these guys do not have that, and so that's how it is. I mean, Nathaniel Hackett is a prime example. Jeff, what's up, brother?
What's up, Jeff? We're about to wrap up this episode, Jeff. I told Craig off the show, but Jeff will be back on the show on a regular basis in a couple weeks. He got his old job back, and he will be on Friday. So it'll be a 3-man team again here pretty soon. So, all right, Craig. Well, Craig has one more here for us. Let's see what you got.
On any other night in sports, Donovan Mitchell has every headline from here until eternity.
Oh, yeah.
Donovan Mitchell goes for 71 last night, and he is one of 7 players to go for 70. He has the game of his life. He's slinging his body around, throwing deals up, missing free throws, diving, throwing, making miraculous shots, brings his team back and beats the Bulls and scores 71. And unfortunately, it is not a single on anybody's radar because of what happened last night in Cincinnati. And so it's an accomplishment that nobody will ever take from him. And I hope that the NBA goes back after all this is said and done with the NFL. I don't expect the NBA to parade around and make a big deal of it right now, but maybe at the All-Star game, maybe when there's a deal to go back and revisit this and show the highlights of a very, very solid basketball game that a guy went and put 71. If that was Luka, we would want the same thing to be recognized when the time was right. We wouldn't want to overstep. We wouldn't want to have made it last night. I didn't expect it to lead Sports Center when Scott Van Pelt came on. I didn't expect him to go, hey, hold on. Donovan Mitchell scored 71 last night, but
yeah.
But to not talk about it at all is absolutely a something that man any other night is the leading headline and the leading deal, and he should at some point get the recognition that he deserves. And it's when you're one of 7 in the entire history of the league to score that many points. It's impressive.
No, that is definitely impressive. I did see that a little bit in passing, but like you said, it wasn't really out there and for obvious reasons. But
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that is your show this week. Tuesday, Talks on Tuesday here. And we got a show coming for you on Friday. We're going to talk about the playoff scenario headed into the weekend to get you all up and informed in what's going to happen in what games and who needs to clinch what. We're going to give you any other headlines that happen. Hopefully, we can give you a DeMar Hamlin update with some good news. And I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your week. God bless, guys. And remember,
Keep it outspoken.